I see.
Yeah,
I see.
yeah, yeah. But it's fun and it's free.
Fun and free.
Hello and welcome. My name's J.E. and with me today is my good old friend, Alexander Gonzalez.
Hello.
And please remember that we are not game devs. How you doing today, Alex?
Doing pretty good. Sitting in the middle of like a windstorm. It's been going on all day.
A windstorm.
Yeah. It's interesting. I that's just what I call it. It's like monsoony winds that
Okay.
are dry, and if you go outside, you get overwhelmed with allergies. Like I don't usually get allergies to things, but with the wind being that strong, it'll like pick up sand, throw it at you. Pollen will get up your nose, and before you know it,
Does it
it's
does
not
it
very
look
good.
like pollen season or whatever it was called in Persona 5?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, there are some times where you're like walking by trees and you just see yellow all over the floor
Yeah.
where they just shed. But no, it just gets picked up and thrown. It's very hazy though. At one point, as it was coming in yesterday, I couldn't even see any mountains in the distance. They were just completely hazed over.
How fast
And
are
it's
these
bad air
winds? Are
quality.
you like seeing?
Pretty fast. Pretty fast. Where like I said, they can take some sand and like throw it at you and it stings just a little bit.
Well, where I grew up, we had winds. I guess I'll call them windstorms now.
Oh, enough to curl up an awning and break it.
Okay,
Like
cool.
at
Like
my cousin Chris's workplace, it curled up an awning and just destroyed it.
yeah, like where I was, my fence between me and my neighbor, it flew. It just left. So we had
Yep.
to buy a new, or I think we probably pulled our funds together to buy a new fence to build. I mean, I
Hmm.
didn't deal with that. I was like 8, but those are not the wins we are talking about today. Today we are creating something new. Every week, we on our game devs will create a new, exciting video game idea that we have always wanted to play, but do not have any knowledge or know-how to create the wonderful experience that are video games. Today is my turn to present We Are Not Game Devs 120th IP. So,
All right.
very typical of me, this game. It's going to be a competitive multiplayer game, right?
All right.
With Monster Hunter-esque gameplay. So what you're doing, we'll drop 2 teams of, let's say, 4 down. And we open up this entire forest area for you, right? And let's say we could even make it battle royale, where you could choose where you're going to land and you could see where the other team's going to land, right? And you guys both land, and then each character, I'm assuming there's going to be 4, maybe 5, 6 classes that your player could pick, and they each have different skills. But it's going to be your team going out to kill more monsters than the other team and get more points. And different monsters cost different amount of points. And you guys could also meet each other, and I'm sure there's going to have to be some sort of gimmick or mechanic in the game where if you steal someone else's kill, I don't know how that worked, because I don't want people poaching, right? Like just waiting for the other team to go and then just finish the team off. You know what I mean? Not hunt for themselves. There has to be something there. But that's pretty much the basics.
Okay.
Where do you want to go from here?
I think we should work on the poaching and stuff because it's almost unavoidable.
Mhm.
Because you can't do last hits, because then someone can wait and do a last hit.
Yeah, just
You can do some combination of whoever does the most damage gets a trophy that's worth half of the experience, and then there's a skin that you carve off, and that you carry back maybe to your own base camp for more points. And then you could have a strategy where you do take skins, but that doesn't mean you'll get the,
yeah.
you won't get the monster kills.
See, I think that was my first ideal thought in terms of how to fix it. But while you're talking, I think I might have a solution that kind of takes one of your ideas and just modifies it a little bit. What if how it works is, let's say you do go for a poaching kill where this team has whittled down this, I don't know, a T-Rex till like 20% left of his health, right? And then you go wipe out that team and take out the T-Rex for yourself. Let's say there is a poaching negative effect where you don't get, they'll see you get, like, let's say you get 100 points for killing a T-Rex, right? And if someone brought it all the way down to 20%, you only get 20% of the point. So you only get 20 points for that kill because you
Yeah,
didn't
so
do
you'll get
most.
what you put in.
Exactly. And so like it'll make it so the other team doesn't get the 80 points, but poaching isn't that worth it because you'll only get a certain percentage of the kill. You know what I mean? So like if they're fighting the T-Rex
I
and
don't know,
only put
because
down
like it seems to me as though you can kind of choose your heroes and tailor it to whatever play style you want to do.
Mhm.
If you want to do it where you do two, like a tank and a healer, and they go out and they slowly kill monsters, and then you use two poacher heroes and they take out the other team little by little.
like two PvP
Maybe they
players.
and they settle on the first, the farthest ranged person. So then the tank can't turn its back, and they slowly take out the healer, and the other people have to kind of coordinate. You could slow down an enemy team, even if you're not trying to poach too much. Like you're just trying to disrupt the rhythm and get people off. And if you get a kill, they have to respawn.
Mhm. So
I don't think it's a problem. I just think it's a strategy.
right. And I think that there's going to be pros and cons to being a mainly PvP team or PvP focused team versus being strictly for hunting versus a mix of both. Like have some defenders and have some people who are
I
actually
think
hunters.
there's going to be multiple strategies you can do because there's all kinds of heroes that can kind of come into the mix where you can have your classic hunter where he has rifles and he's able to shoot from range. Then you can have like an elementalist who has power over water,
Yeah.
fire, thunder.
So
You could have another
think,
one.
real quick, is this going to be like a contemporary fantasy world?
Yeah,
Like a
I can
mix
see
of
that.
both. And then, of course, in the background, we don't really tell it explicitly, but there's a whole lore to this world and the story that's going on. But you have to figure that out through collectibles and stuff. But yeah, maybe I mean, of course, there has to be like the bow and arrow guy. And then, yeah, we could have some magic powers in this. And then we'll have like, magic user. And then maybe
and then another guy who's like in a mech kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah. So it's like very different type of characters. In terms of magic, maybe there's like we can make it so it's specific specialties, maybe a healer magic user, more of a, I don't know why, but in my head, these places are very jungly. They don't have to be. Maybe it could be like Monster Hunter where there's different environments in one map,
You could do that too. Yeah.
But then for magic, I don't know if it's going to be like they could summon a fireball or if they use the environment around them more like a druid like.
No, I think they would be able to summon fireballs and shoot them.
Mm-hmm.
Only I think like the druid class would be able to play off of the environment in the sense that every place is going to have trees, so they'll be able to use trees. Every place is going to have monsters, so they'll be able to charm maybe low level monsters and use them and those skills.
And of course, like new heroes will be added as the game progresses and stuff. And then maybe there could even be like, I know we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but I feel like this is important in terms of finding out the mechanics of the game, but I feel like this will be a free to play game and then we'll have like new heroes introduced with each season. You know what I'm saying? And so like, there could even be like ranked play versus casual play. And then like, so it becomes kind of more of that free to play model. So then we'll add characters in, we'll add story beats in, new map sections, and like change the map every once in a while,
There's all kinds of maps you can offer. You can offer jungle, you can offer rainforest, you can offer savanna, you can offer tundra.
Yeah.
And all those can have different stuff intermingled in them, like you said. So like the tundra can lead up to the base of a volcano, go up there, and maybe there's fiery
and then
dinosaurs.
Yeah, in terms of the monsters that you're fighting, are we going for more of a dinosaur theme or like monsters? Like
I was thinking in general monsters, but dinosaurs will definitely be into the mix.
Okay.
Because, if you're going into like maybe a swamp, you're going to see more, if it's a dinosaur, like crocodiles, alligators, but still swamp monsters where they're kind of fused with plant life and maybe fungi.
Yeah. So how about for the map, we do it more like how a battle royale works, where we only have 1 or 2 maps, but we change them from season to season. Like one area is completely gone and replaced with something else, you know? And so these are going to be huge maps. So I think that will also help with the PvP stealing kills things, where like the map's so big you won't really run into that issue unless you have like a tracker that can track other teams type of thing,
And
you know?
that's where the poacher classes come in, where maybe there's one with an eagle or some kind of scouter. It could even be a dog, where you can hear barking when it gets close to the enemy, so you can kind of filter them out.
Yeah. Um, if the map is gonna be that huge, is 2 teams too little? Or do you think
I
it'll
think you can
be
do anything from 2 to 4 teams, and then
okay?
we could maybe scale the map up just a little bit, but not too much.
Maybe it could be like I don't know if these games work this way, but I think they do, like a Dota LOL situation where you could choose 1v1,
Yeah,
2v2, 3v3, and I don't
just
think
instead of lanes, you're gonna make it where it's entirely a jungle,
right.
which is what they call it.
And I don't think it necessarily needs to be scaling the map. I think for smaller teams, maybe we just bar some sections. You know what I mean? Like make the map smaller by just putting a not an invisible wall, but like a wall there, you know, so not the whole map is
Yeah.
available. And then we can make it so it's like how battle royales work now, where the storm closes in, but it closes in a different place every single time. When we bar these places, it's not the same areas that are walled off in a 1v1. It's like different areas each time. It's not like it's getting smaller or anything like a battle royale, but you, for some reason, in this instance on a 1v1 match, when I say 1v1, I really mean 4v4, but one team against one team. The volcano area isn't accessible in this game, but it is the next game, and then the water area isn't available in that game. Does that make sense? And so
Yes.
that way we don't have to make brand new monsters every time we introduce a new map. We could just use the same ones and put them in their environments, you know? And then I would also say maybe there's like 10 legendary monsters and only like 4 of them spawn every game, where if you go find these monsters and find out that they're there, you could go and hunt them and they're worth a specific
Now,
point.
I was thinking about doing that, and we could do them on events. So I wanted there to be a day-night cycle. So there's different monsters that appear in day and night
Oh
in the
shoot.
same
Yeah.
maps. And then on top of that, when there's a full moon, I was thinking that there could be one powerful monster that comes out. Now, hear me out. I think it could be 2 things for a full moon. On one map, it could be where it changes lower level monsters into like werewolf like creatures, and then there's an actual werewolf that can infect people. And when you fight that one, there's a debuff where if you get bitten, it may trigger rage in you. And then the other one would be if we do a map where there's a sea, when the full moon hits, the tide recedes, and then there could be like this kind of almost loosely based on Godzilla kind of dinosaur that comes out, and then you have to fight that.
That's cool. I like it. So, do you think the day and night cycle, it's you're experiencing everything in one game, so you get like one night, so you get day 1, night 1, day 2, night 2, day 3, full moon night 3, day 4, night 4.
I was thinking with those, you could make it where the settings are random too, where it's like moon phase. You could start it wherever,
I was thinking
where there
that,
could be,
yeah,
yeah.
where
And then, mhm.
so maybe what it could be like is it's not based on real time clock, but in the game at all times, there's it's there is a clock and everyone's on the
Yeah.
same clock, but it's always
Yep,
running,
yep.
even when you're in lobby. Like let's say you just ended at midnight and then you won, and then you get to the lobby. The in-game clock's still going. So it was midnight, and then if you get into the next game, maybe by that point it's like 3 a.m. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
we could do that.
And so
Yeah,
like
like a server, like an entire server clock. So it'd
that's
be
the best way to put it, a server clock. Yeah.
that'd be fun. And then the other ones would be a little bit more random, where you could still do something where the weather gets changed. But I was thinking another one could be like an asteroid hit, so a certain part of the map gets
Oh, that's
terraformed.
crazy.
And
Yeah.
then from there, this alien monster race kind of comes out of the asteroid, like it hatches, and it's like this goo. So they start coming out, and you can fight them until you get to the queen and then kill that. And maybe when you do this and you beat them, you get this buff. You get a little bit of a buff too for like a day.
Yeah, for those, there would be like a cool opportunity where in the lobby, it'll give you like a pop-up message which is like full moon's coming in 1 minute, and then it'll be like 1 minute, 59 seconds, 58 seconds, 57 seconds. And then if you
Yeah.
get into a game during that time frame, you'll know for sure there would be a full moon when you log in. But or let's say it's a 3-minute warning, where if you jump in a game, you know during that game at night there's going to be a full moon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there'll be descriptions too where it's going to get really bright and the shadows are going to be more intensified as the moon comes into full moon.
Oh, like in-game
And then
signs?
we'll also have like, yeah, and I think you could also keep an audio announcer if you want, just to like have something like that where it's like full moon.
I think
and then it goes from
it'll
there.
be more like an announcer like Zelda from Breath of the Wild, where there is like a lady telepathically talking to you the entire game.
If you want,
You know
yeah,
what I
that's
mean?
fine.
And she'll be like the narrator for the whole game, where everyone hears this lady talking, and she'll say like random quips every now and then that tells you lore bits. Like let's say you walk past a certain thing, and she'll like insert like a little thing.
I think that's where you can kind of make the money in this game is you can sell announcer packs. So it doesn't just have to be that lady. It can be different people coming in or your favorite character or
Yeah.
maybe if there's some kind of famous person that you like.
No, I
and they
think
want to do
what we could
VO.
do for the announcers, let's say the announcers are like the leaders for a particular kingdom in our universe, right? And so like as you play the game, you'll learn that there's like 4 main continents or 4 main countries, and they're not at war with each other, but there's tense relations, and maybe one of them is at war with the other. And I'm just talking about lore here. And like if 2 characters that are on opposite sides of a continent are in the same squad, like Overwatch, they'll mention certain things to each other. You know, like if you get
Yeah.
Reaper and Mercy in one party, they'll say something.
Yeah, talk about battles they've had together or different times
or how much they hate each other,
what they've heard.
Stuff like that. You'll like, oh, that's typical that you would say that, or stuff like that, you know. And so yeah, there's these 4 warring countries, and there's the leaders that you hear about in pieces of lore, what other characters say, and you could tell that these people are viewed very highly for people of that country, and these are the narrators that you listen to. They're giving your character instructions, maybe is what it is. And so
That works, yeah. They can be like generals and stuff.
Right. And you could like kind of, like you said, maybe you could switch between narrators between certain races. And let's take a page out of Spellbreak's book, where let's say you could advance in certain characters' alliance. So if you play with this one region characters a lot, and let's say each region's characters have very specific skill sets, like there's similar skill sets, like both the...
You can even work up to a discount for the characters in that race if you play a lot of them.
Yeah.
In the store.
Oh, that'd be interesting. But like if you play as a specific race a lot, like you'll gain allegiance with that race in terms of like another experience gauge in the game, you know what I'm saying? And then you can unlock special perks by playing that race a lot, and you could do that with all the races. It's not like you could only pick one, but like as you play more characters, you'll gain experience in that country's world and unlock new perks, maybe new cosmetic characters that are named and have a personality and everything, and like unlock certain skins or banners or name cards, all that stuff. And eventually narrators,
new UIs
in that continent. And we can make it so you could only choose between, like if you're playing, I don't think there's elves in this game, but for better terms, I guess magic user race, right? You could only, whenever you play them, the narrator that you choose for that race is what plays. But then let's say you move to the human race, you get whoever human narrator there is, you know. So you get a different narrator for what character you pick, and then you could pick the narrator for that region. That's a lot of explanation for some back stuff. I think it's a cool way to give progression to this game, you know.
Yeah. And I think there's also probably going to be a free mode where you can kind of do whatever you want to. Like if someone buys all the announcer packs or something, they can put them on.
I think we'll allow it, but by default, it's just that
just to make some messed up games,
Yeah.
because that's always fun. There's always going to be a subsection of the audience that kind of just wants to play in the sand.
Yeah.
Like all random, all middle kind of games.
I did also want to mention, you did mention like random, not random, but like timed encounters like the full moon, meteor showers, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In ranked, how would you want to deal with that? Like, are they there?
Oh, that'd be the same thing.
It'd just be on a clock.
Yeah, they'd be there. Yeah, they'd be on a clock that's somewhat predictable.
Yeah.
So like if you're doing ranked or tournament modes, there's going to be a tournament section where the full moon will occur at the same time every time because the cycle starts at the same time. Or, and they're going to be able to figure it out where someone's going to be able to look up to the sky, see where the moon's at, and then go from there because there's going to be enough context clues
well, the
going
game
around.
will also, I think, just tell you.
Yeah, there's an announcement. Or like if they're like, okay, well, is the moon a factor in this game? Oh no, I think I saw an asteroid going through the sky. It looks like we're gonna get asteroid coming down.
And maybe like it'll be pretty apparent where, let's say you're playing ranked, but you hate the meteor showers. And so you're like, okay, the meteor shower is going to happen if we start a game right now. So let's go into casual, play the meteor shower out, and then we'll jump into rank right after. So then you'll get switched between ranked and casual when you know there's a certain element that you don't like and you just want to avoid it for your ranked play. And it's not like anyone's getting advantage other than someone might prefer that event more than you, whereas everyone still gets to play the same event at the same time. It's not like anyone's getting an advantage over another.
No.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. And I think maybe every once in a while we could introduce like, how in like Fortnite and stuff, there's like the team war modes where it's like 50 against 50. We could do something like that where, except in this one, it's just like an extra long mode where you play through like multiple days, like a survival mode or something like that, where it's like you're in there for a while and we'll throw more of those random encounters in that mix. Like it's going to be like more often than they normally would.
Yeah, I could see that. Or, and then you could do other events where maybe some kind of lich comes back and it's all the players against just exclusively the enemy.
Oh, yeah, we could do like...
And maybe this lich comes back and revives all the fallen dead monsters. So it's like 300% spawns. Aggressivity is all the way up. So these monsters are actually chasing players instead of the other way around. And you have to kind of fight them.
Yeah, what we could do for that, let's make an overarching story that we're telling through multiple seasons, right? And I think it'll be pretty easy to tell a really big story because let's say each season lasts 2 months or a month and a half. We only have to give you a tiny segment of lore each time, but let's say at the end of each season, there's a mode that you could opt in or out of where, because like some people don't want to do the special events and stuff. But anyway, there's like a special event that starts and ends every single season where it is like what you just said, where it's a big event where you're not facing each other. You're all hunting one enemy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there'll just be big events like that at the beginning and end of each season that is like a story beat that also has giant cool of like Fortnite-esque level events to bookend.
Yeah, and it's a big old PvE event.
Exactly. Or PvP events even at certain points, I think.
Yeah.
Like each one can be different or similar in terms of scope, and I think that would be just a cool way to end everything each time.
I agree.
Cool. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we could add. I mean, of course, I think how cosmetics will work is instead of changing individual people's outfits, you get new people to play as, maybe. Or no, I guess it's class-based, so it's going to have to be skins, right?
Yeah, we can do skins. We can introduce new heroes later. You can also do new UIs based on the lore and stories.
Or like each character region will have different UI maybe is what it is. Like maybe
That's what I'm saying, but it doesn't always have to be like, for instance, the King's UI. You can maybe a lieutenant gets popular amongst the player base too, and you can have his UI or something like
well, I
that.
was thinking we'll go even further, and I don't think any game does this, where every new cosmetic character we create, they will have their own UI that's
That
exclusive to
works
them.
too.
And I don't think it's going to even be the same template. We could change, like a magic user's UI, I think is going to be much different than like a archers versus a barbarian. But then each one specific to that character is going to have something a little bit different. Like I would say each character class will have drastically different UI, and then each specific character will have like Kingdom Hearts esque different layers to it, like a different look depending on that character. You know, like all
Okay, yeah.
archers will have the same looking UI, but it'll be
No, it
different
makes
per
sense
character.
why, yeah, like why an archer would have a different UI versus someone who's operating a mech, you
Exactly.
know? It's not the
And
same.
so I also think, yeah, you could unlock skins for your favorite character, and then like very Overwatch esque, where you have all these individual characters and everyone has their own preference on who they want to play, and then each one has their own skins. You know,
Gotcha, yeah.
this is going to be more like what I imagine LOL to be like, where there are like by the end of this, I don't know how long LOL's been out, but by the end of 5 years, there's going to be like 112 characters. I don't know how many characters LOL has, but I imagine it's like that.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot of characters and stuff, and then different combinations and characters that go into the meta and don't, you
Yeah.
know? So it's
How
always
does
fun.
LOL work where each character is unique, right? Or
I can only speak to Dota 2. I didn't play too much LOL,
okay, well
lol.
they're
But
similar, right?
they're mostly unique. There's some characters that are similar, but not completely similar where there's
Okay.
clones.
So I think that's kind of how it's going to be like, where there are going to be some
Like,
similar like characters, but they're not going to be
yeah, I mean,
exactly
if
the
a
same.
character uses like if two characters use guns, it's you can expect there to be some similarities there just because they're using
Right,
guns.
right. And I mean, like maybe one person uses dual pistols, whereas one person uses dual shotguns. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's gonna be a lot of characters that are very similar, but also
It's going to
like
be similar in the sense that like a knight and a samurai both use a sword to kill people,
yeah.
but that doesn't mean that that the way they go about killing that person is the same.
Okay. So I feel like in terms of characters, maybe each season we add like one or two to each race, or maybe not even each race, maybe
Yeah.
one or two in general. Like it will take a Rainbow Six Siege approach where it's like, yeah, so this faction is going to get one character and this faction is going to get one character. And then next time we'll give the other factions a character type of thing.
Yeah, yeah. And you can just go as it goes. You plan a release, do some lore around it.
Cool. All right. So, in terms of music, what kind of sounds are we hearing?
I think it's going to be classical music sounds with environmental stuff, and then just uh, as there's certain urgent events occurring around the map, you're maybe going to hear more war drums going as like you have to step up the pace and the music gets louder, but nothing too crazy. I don't expect it to be anything with lyrics or any like rock genre or hip
Yeah.
hop. I just see it as like a classical or symphonic
Right.
kind of
I
music.
feel like, yeah, each area is going to have like a different music feel to it, you know? So, like, the lava area is going to have a different feel than the watery area, and,
Yeah, yeah.
and then maybe in terms of like the instrumental stuff that plays in the lobby and when you join in a game and when you get killed or win, I think that should be different depending on what region your characters are from. You know what I'm saying? So like the
Yeah,
magic
yeah.
users music, intro music, winning music, killing music is all going to be different than the warrior region,
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Do you think we have to flesh these regions out, or probably not, because that's going to take us way too
No.
long and we don't even have an idea?
Yeah, and we can do that as the game goes on.
Yeah.
It'll be part of the mystery.
Cool. Pricing, I mean, are you cool with the free-to-play model, and then
Yeah, that's where I see
you
it.
would pay maybe for the cosmetics? I feel like all the heroes you get, maybe it could be kind of like how I know that I'm throwing a lot of different games out here, but like kind of how Apex does it, where we release the heroes and you have to pay for them for currency that you could get pretty easily in the game. Like
Yeah,
it's not
that's how
like
I expected it.
super, it's like Rainbow Six Siege, even where it's like you could buy them, but you just have to play the game to buy them, or you put real money into it, type of thing.
Or we can do it where the heroes are free and just all the cosmetics aren't.
All
And they're just really really cool cosmetics with particle effects
mm,
that change what a character does, or maybe even changes what the power looks like,
right.
just
And I
slightly. You
mean,
know?
like, it's not the only way to buy them. There has to be some kind of premium currency that you could earn slowly, you know? But yeah, I
Yeah,
guess we could do it that way where like heroes are
because you would get a
free.
returning player base every time a new hero is
Yeah.
released.
So I guess, yeah, heroes will be free, but
Treasure chests, all cosmetics, UI changes besides what we pack in for
yeah.
free. You're gonna have to get all that.
Okay. I get you. Cool. All right, Alex. It's time to start your timer. It's time to name this game.
All right, and go. I'm thinking the Four Kingdoms.
Sure. Why not?
All right, the Four Kingdoms or just Four Kingdoms?
Just Four Kingdoms.
I thought so. So, Four Kingdoms in 3 seconds. Four Kingdoms is a game where there are, as expected, four kingdoms that have subsisted on this land, and they see that the times are changing. Nature is talking to them, and the animals are responding. They must go out and find the clues and find the reason why the world is erupting and why there are new monsters on the horizon in Four Kingdoms.
All right. So I think we have a game here, Alex. What do you think? Would this be a game you would want to play? And is it fun?
Yeah, I think this would be a game I'd want to play. I would try to be careful not to get swallowed up by it. But yeah, because it's one of those games where you can kind of dedicate all your time and get really good and play with buddies night after night.
Yeah.
What about you, Jay?
I mean, I was talking about this with you earlier on at the beginning, where I have fallen in love with Spellbreak because it is a battle royale that isn't gun based, it's magic based, you know. And this isn't a battle
Mhm.
royale necessarily. It's more like an Overwatch competitive style game, but it has a lot of battle royale mechanics, I think, in it. And I think it's different enough where you get a little bit of battle royale in there, you get a little bit of Monster Hunter in there, you know what I mean? You get a little bit of like a lot
Yeah.
of different games, and to make something I think pretty different. Like the closest thing I could think of to this is like the new genre of games that are more like asynchronous multiplayer. Like Evolve is the first one, and then there was like Friday the 13th. There's Dead by Daylight, like those type of games, you know. And I think this is just a cool, unique twist. I guess it's Monster Hunter competitive is what it really is, you know.
Yeah.
All right. Now that we have a complete game, what game studio would you assign to make Four Kingdoms the best?
All right, so this is going to be a little bit of a curveball, but I'm thinking like Psionics. They made Rocket League. They know what to do with cosmetics, free to play games. They made that game a slow burn that people still play today. I think they can make it competitive and sporty in terms of like the hunt and everything.
Yeah.
And they would have like a different look about it.
No, I think it's so different enough where they'll like have crazy ideas for it, you know. And yeah, they do deal with cosmetics a little bit differently. It didn't start off free to play though; that did come later.
Yep.
But yeah, no, that's a cool pool. My idea is to give this to Epic. And we didn't talk about art style, but I assume this is going to be more cartoony. At first,
Yeah,
it was
I expect
realistic
as much.
in my head, but as we went and described so many characters and all that, yeah, very, very cartoony in my head. And yeah, I think the Fortnite team could do something insane with this because people forget that Fortnite started off as a PvE game, And I think they still love doing that type of stuff there, but Battle Royale got so big, they had to focus on that. So I think a new game by them, I mean, of course, they're still going to work on Fortnite and all that, but a new game by them, this is different enough, but similar in very different ways as well, where they could do something interesting.
Yeah, it'd be like in their wheelhouse, but something different that they could sell.
Exactly.
For sure. The last one for me would be Turtle Rock Studios.
I was going to say them too.
Yeah, it's just an easy kind of thing where Evolve kind of ramped down, but it would be somewhat in their talent base to do something like this.
Yeah, no, I mean, that exact same thought as me, where this is pretty much Evolve, but you're getting another team involved, not just you versus one monster that's controlled by a player. It's your team against another team, and the monsters are AI.
Exactly.
And so it's just a different take. And yeah, I think they really like the idea, and I really like the idea of Evolve, but it just didn't pan out that well, you know?
Nope.
All right. And with that, our 120th IP has gone gold. We hope you look forward to this experience that will probably never release. You could write to @poundgames@gmail.com if you have anything to patch into the game we created today. Also, give us feedback. We're still learning how to make this show better, and your feedback really helps. We have a Patreon. If you'd like to back our ideas, please head over to patreon.com/wearenotgamedevs. Patrons receive episodes 2 days early and an extra podcast at the beginning, which caught the tail end of a conversation at the beginning of this episode. That's patreon.com/wearenotgamedevs. If you like the show, why not subscribe and give us all the stars on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Store, Spotify, YouTube, and more. And if they ask for a review, instead of reviewing our show, become your inner game critic and review Four Kingdoms, the video game we just created. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll be back next Friday with another new IP. Again, my name is J.E.
And I'm Alex Gonzalez.
Thank you, and please remember that we are not game devs. I don't know if you heard it, but I was very thirsty near the end. My words are like dragging. Do you hear that?
No, I didn't hear like the lip smacking or anything like that.
Oh, man.
That's hilarious. We'll stop for a quick water break then.